Good morning, folks. The incoming sunspot group on the northern hemisphere has sent some ejecta out into space the last day. They were fairly odd eruptive forms, and there was no Earth-directed component. Meanwhile, the top alert on our star remains this massive plasma filament. There was a significant surge through that filament yesterday, but it held on, now more than 1 million kilometers across. Tonight, she begins turning out of view. Solar flaring? Not really up to the task. Can't much blame the sunspots either. The departing group is showing magnetic complexity in two different areas of the sunspot group. The trailing active region is beta class, but the umbras are smaller and less interactive. And of course, the one group that managed to produce a CME looks somewhat pitiful on the limb there. Let's take a look at 3 days of solar wind telemetry and see yesterday's coronal hole impact waning away already, with speed and temperature in yellow and green both going down, Earth's magnetic shield doing just fine. It's time to start looking towards our next earthquake watch as the southern negative coronal hole begins to swing in. Only the most equatorial portion of this opening is visible in 211 angstroms, and as it enters the Earth-facing fourth of the Sun, we see near-Earth space about to endure the negative influence. Thus far, we're only detecting moderate force from this opening. Now, in the meantime, the earthquakes have been of lesser magnitude. We did have one interesting one near the northwest portion of Mexico. Top stories. Messenger has delivered a brand new gravity map of Mercury. Make that maps. This article is open source via Wiley Online Library, and it is linked for you below. We also have a photo release from the ESO. Using infrared enhancements to our view of the galaxy has helped reveal numerous hidden objects never seen before, like these two. It's interesting to read about their process of discovery. Also, folks, from yesterday at the conference.
So we're about to start the Geoengineering panel here, and next to me is Bruce Douglas. He had some very, very good news, which we told you guys all about not too long ago. You guys recognize that guy? Hello? What in the world are they spraying? Why in the world are they spraying? And some new things we're going to learn about here in a bit, so it's going to be very interesting.
Folks, if you missed that geoengineering live stream yesterday, it was a little bit of everything on the topic. I can say that a bit of nervousness on my part was flipped into pure validation when it appeared that Mr. Murphy agreed with much, if not almost every word we said on geoengineering. The 5 or 6 hours of discussion we already have on this topic over at suspiciousobservers.org appears to be on point. Let's get back to it. Got this typhoon in the West Pacific still dancing through the islands surrounding Guam. No landfall is expected. Over to the east, NOAA's alerts for today are an unhelpful hodgepodge of colors. Let's take this step by step. We're still taking the atmospheric river at the west coast with a convergence line off of this low. The lows to the east of that are producing the terrible winter events and freezing the states to boot with that wind flow out of the Arctic. We've got it west, east, north, and the worst of it now shifts to those winter storms in the east as the flood and landslide risks lessen out west. Some areas are expecting such terrible winter conditions the next few days that discussing records breaking almost doesn't do it justice. Europe. Please note the high pressure node in the center clearing its path and sending the water to some lows running from the north to the south along the eastern edge of the visible area. Satellite will show that clearing by the high pressure, with the clouds going to those lows in the east. That will also be where we find tonight's weather alerts. Down under. Same moisture flow in the north, meeting a low up there at the western peninsula, while the convergence continues cresting at New Zealand. That is also where we see the cloud cover on satellite, and where we have the precipitation warnings for this evening. It is the last day of the Conscious Life Expo today. The last 7 months in the mobile observatory have been fantastic, but we begin a little break now. We'll pick it back up in April, but until then, still got the show right here online every day, and as always, we've got your current conditions followed by shots of our star to close. It's 6:20 a.m. in the east, 3:20 a.m. out here in California. Eyes open, no fear. Be safe, everyone.